Yeah, massive win for us. And we knew that, of course, before the game. We knew the importance. They're so tight. That will put us in a stronger position, but it's still very tight. And 2 games to keep our focus and to try and get as many points as we can.
In some ways, did the sending off cause you more problems than its own?
Yeah, it did, and I think it was one of those games that was always probably going to, because of what was at stake, the scoreline, the psychology of both teams, and the fact they had nothing to lose in the second half. So they played very well, I have to say, Chelsea, and you could see the quality and level of their players that they have. But they had nothing to lose and we had everything to lose, and as much as we wanted to attack and the intention was to attack and to control the game, we played quite safe, and ultimately that led to losing control of the game. But despite losing control, we still managed to defend well enough to keep them out, and indebted to Nick, I think, two magnificent saves today.
Thank you. Got the George, Luke and then Lee, please. George?
Hi, can I just ask a question about Newcastle, your team, and the art of these big moments, these big games? Think about sort of Arsenal home and away and the Carabao Cup, obviously Liverpool. I know there were a few nervy moments in the second half there, but like on the really big stage, your team has just found a way of getting through it.
Yeah, so far so good. I think we've become used to the big games. I don't think that was the case when we first arrived, and we slowly built our league position, but having 2 cup finals, the Champions League experience has definitely helped us in that respect. I think now there's a much better reaction to the bigger occasions, and no bigger than today really. I mean, the pressure on us today was huge with the expectation, the crowd, and you've got to try and use all of those things to your advantage, but if you're not careful they can become a disadvantage. So credit to the players, magnificent, credit to the crowd with early kick-off, that they were there for us from before the game, and that certainly helped us relax into the game and start in the way that we did.
Yeah, that sort of first couple of minutes, the noise off the pitch was extraordinary, and on it. Can you just talk a bit about that moment when Sandro comes charging in to firstly win the ball, that first goal, but then also to finish that moment, very special.
Yeah, an amazing piece of play from Sandro. I mean, his energy and his legs has been a key part of our game, and he's used it, I'd say, mainly probably for defensive work as he's changed his position, but he's still got this natural ability to sometimes follow the play, and he makes a lot of good forward runs. So he regained the ball, and then he's on the end of another unbelievable Jacob Murphy cross into the space, and it was a really good finish. So it was a great moment for us. We desperately wanted the second goal, and I thought we did really well in the first half to try and get that. That would have been obviously a lot more comfortable for us.
Thanks, George. Luke?
The squad's been stretched a little bit now, isn't it? Does that sharpen focus about the size of the job that you will have in the summer to rebuild?
Yeah, I think we're missing some big players, and I think whenever you do that, there's a gap. Now, I think we've done really well. The lads that came in today did really well. They filled that gap superbly, and that's of course, from my perspective, what you're looking for: people to step up and show their qualities. And when you're bringing players like Sven Botman and Anthony Gordon into the team, they're top class players, and I thought they both played well today. But below that, of course, now we're slightly stretched, and we see if we can get a couple of players back. But of course, the summer window, as we know, and I've made no hiding of the fact it's a big window for us.
Are there any updates on the injured players, Kieran and Joe in particular?
Yeah, we don't think they're big injuries, but there's such short time left now before the end of the season. We'd love to get them back fit and able to play a part, but I've got no idea at this moment in time if that's possible. That's okay.
Lee Ryder?
I was boring myself, so you can cut me off.
Obviously, you just mentioned Trippier there being missing. Did others have to step up today and fill that void in terms of influence? I thought Sandro did that quite well.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to when you miss a player like Joelinton. He's such an infectious character in so many different ways. When he's missing, you're looking for someone to step up. And same with Kieran. Kieran's got so much experience and he's very vocal. And you miss his vocal presence when he's not there, when he's not playing, especially on the pitch. But I thought the players that came in did elevate us. I thought we played really well in that first half, and change of system and changes a lot of things for us, but I thought the players' tactical understanding was brilliant.
In terms of the second half, against 10 men, sometimes expect Newcastle to go out and get maybe 2 or 3 and just go big gun ball really, but today did you have to take that into consideration, how big this match was?
No, that wasn't the intention. I think the game ended up in the way that it was for a few different reasons. One, I think we played with a bit of caution because we were winning the game. And then, as I said earlier, Chelsea had nothing to lose, so they were playing without caution and playing very well. So I think a combination of those two things went against us, but also we missed several opportunities, whether it was a bad touch or a bad pass or cross, to actually get that second goal. And if we had have done earlier, I think that the half would have looked different. But credit to Chelsea for how they played, but also credit for us for in those difficult moments, and you can feel it around the stadium, we stayed strong, and that's where I have to mention Nick, because those 2 saves I thought were world class.
Thanks, Lee. We've got Chelsea waiting to come on, so we'll take it down to single questions to get as many of you as we can. We'll go to Mark, Craig and Don, please. Mark?
Eddie, you're third in the league, you're ahead of Manchester City, you're only a point off second. The magnitude of what you're kind of doing here, although you're trying to obviously get to the end of the season, it surely can't be lost on you how well the season's going and how much you've achieved already and potentially achieved at the end of the season. This is a big season, so.
Yeah, but we still have 2 games to go and lots of twists and turns that could be around the corner, and I think we can't sit back and look at it that way. We have to sit back and, well, not sit back, we have to drive forward and reflect on our next game and make sure we're ready for Arsenal, because that is a very, very tough match, and we know how tight it is with the teams around us, so we're not taking anything for granted. I have to say the players have been magnificent in that respect for a long, long time, but yeah, we go again next week.
Thank you. Craig?
You said there'll be lots of twists and turns there. Do you want another one? Leicester's winning Forest.
It's better than last week, I think. That killed me last week, that.
On the sending off, what did you make of it in real time and then with the replay?
Yeah, I thought initially my gut reaction was that's a sending off, because I could sort of see that Jackson wasn't looking at the ball, he was looking at the man, and I think that always puts you in a vulnerable position, especially if you make contact with your elbow like he did. And I've just seen it when I was being interviewed on the TV there, and for me, my opinion hasn't changed. I do think it's a red card.
Thank you. Don?
Just to follow that up, Sven took a few whacks during the game, came off early in the second half. Is he okay his first start since January?
Yeah, we hope so. I think he was icing a problem at half time, so we hope he's okay. So with that in mind, and the fact I felt we needed to change tactically, we made a change, brought Louis on. Big moment for Louis, and I thought he handled that situation. A lot of pressure on him, really, really well. So I was really pleased. But the second half was very much a tactical affair with lots going on. So pleased with the adaptability of the squad.
Okay, the last 3 to finish. Well, Louise, Scott and Aaron, please.
Hi.
Hi.
I was going to ask you about Trippier, but I'll ask you about Caicedo, and obviously, did you target him with Gordon specifically? Because obviously he's brilliant when in midfield, but perhaps not a natural right back. And did you feel that him moving into midfield and James coming on changed the game in the second half?
Yeah, certainly the changes helped them. I felt at half time. I mean, James is a top quality player, and I thought he did really well and helped them in the way that they wanted to play. Yeah, I think in the first half, look, we were really pleased with how we played. We always identify opponents' strengths, our strengths, and maybe opponents' weaknesses to try and highlight them and try and help us attack. Caicedo, I have to say, I thought was magnificent today. I thought he had a really strong game in both positions. But we're really pleased with how we played as well.
Thanks, Louise. Scott?
You talk about all the changes of tactics and the way ready, but just talk us through a little bit about the decision to start with the 3 centre-halves, and specifically just how well you thought Dan did in that first half hour where he was basically all over Cole Palmer and not giving him any space whatsoever.
Yeah, I thought Dan had another really strong game. The thing I love about Dan is his fearlessness when he plays. He's very aggressive. I mean, he's very good, obviously, aerially, but on the floor, I think he's been magnificent for us this year in terms of covering ground. And it's not easy to do what we ask of him and Fabi, but I thought they executed it really well today. I think we have to be adaptable. The way the game's going and it constantly changes, your players need to be adaptable, even in running. I thought we were today, and that helped us win.